Conservative government watchdog group, Judicial Watch, just filed an ethics complaint against Senator Cory Booker (DNJ) in an effort to hold him accountable for his flagrant grandstanding and disregard for the rules. Booker chose to publicly release confidential Senate Judiciary Committee documents for political gain during the confirmation hearing for Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch, detailed in a letter delivered to the chairman and co-chairman of the U.S. Senate Select Committee on Ethics on Wednesday the nature of the complaint, stating, "By publicly releasing committee confidential records, Senator Booker appears to have violated provisions 5 and/or 6 of Rule 29 of the Standing Rules of the Senate Rev. January 24, 2013. We hereby request that the Senate Ethics Committee conduct a preliminary investigation into whether Senator Booker violated Senate rules by releasing committee confidential records through his social media accounts." Here is what the rules state. 5. Any senator, officer or employee of the Senate who shall disclose the secret or confidential business or proceedings of the Senate, including the business and proceedings of the committees, subcommittees and offices of the Senate shall be liable, if a senator, to suffer expulsion from the body, and if an officer or employee, to dismissal from the service of the Senate, and to punishment for contempt. 6. Whenever, by the request of the Senate or any committee thereof, any documents or papers shall be communicated to the Senate by the President or the head of any department relating to any matter pending in the Senate, the proceedings in regard to which are secret or confidential under the rules, said documents and papers shall be considered as confidential, and shall not be disclosed without leave of the Senate. Fitton also detailed a series of admissions by Booker to support the assertions and provide proof that Booker did indeed willfully and knowingly break the rules. The confirmation of Justice Brett Kavanaugh has been highly contentious and very ugly from the outset. Made so by paid protesters and rabble-rousers, along with congressional members of the Democratic Party that seem far more intent on obstruction, than they do on actually fulfilling the duties of the tasks allotted to the positions they were elected to fulfill. Booker continued that tradition on day 2 of the hearings as he postured and bloviated for a dog and pony show of his own creation full of a lot of fanfare and overinflated ego. After referring to himself as Spartacus on Thursday morning, Booker declared dramatically that he was prepared to figuratively throw himself on his sword for the American people, stating that if he lost his elected position as senator for breaking the rules, then so be it. Booker said, "I am, right now, before your process is finished, I am going to release the email about racial profiling. I understand that the penalty comes with potential ousting from the Senate." Much grandstanding and innuendo as to the exact nature of the emails abounded, making sure all the world knew, at least in Booker's mind, that the email would be damning in nature and could potentially hurt the nomination of Justice Kavanaugh. Despite being sternly rebuked by Grassley and later Senator John Cornyn (RTX), Booker and his team of sycophants and yes men chose to ignore and released the documents in defiance of rules governing the process. As Booker acted as master of ceremonies, the 2020 presidential hopeful was warned that threatening to release the emails in such a fashion constituted an action that could cause Booker to be removed from his position as a United States Senator. Clearly, not taking the warnings seriously, Booker followed up that bravado with this narcissistic commentary, stating, "This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an 'I am Spartacus' moment."